Hello and welcome to Bendy, a podcast about being flexible and all of the ways that means. Thanks for joining us. My name is Andy Young and I'm one of your humid, semi-tropical hosts. Joining me as always is our other humid and semi-tropical host, Beth Martin. Beth, a pleasure as always. What's the crack?
I love all of our planning that went into this episode.
Right? But I mean, like, I was also kind of like in those descriptors, I was like, I am pretty positive I've never described us as either humid or semi-tropical. So, like, you know, at least for unique points, we're in good shape.
I mean, that's kind of accurate for where I'm at. It's not humid nor tropical.
Is it?
I mean, the palm trees are not native. And
that's true.
And I'm getting like fire danger warnings, like, I don't know, twice a day now.
So if anything you could do with a bit more humidity.
Incendiary, I guess. Yeah, we could do it.
Incendiary, okay.
Yeah.
Is it? I can't, like, I mean, are parts of California humid?
Yeah.
Or is it? It is, okay. Yeah. But, like, by and large, it's relatively dry?
I mean, if you're down by the ocean, it's for sure humid, and
that makes
everything
sense.
is molding, but then it's...
Oh, yeah, freaking... Yeah, San Diego was humid as shit.
Yeah. And it's right now, it's what's called the June gloom. So it's just like only like marine layer, and it never burns off. So you're just like in the clouds.
Oh God, really?
So all those people that spent $27 million in their waterfront property, they get the June gloom.
Delighted.
Yeah, they're happy.
That's just somebody who's a video game fan like me. That would be great. It's like perfect. I don't even need to close the curtains. I just need to like sit down. What a dream.
That effort of having to close the curtains.
Can you imagine? Jesus.
And just being able to sit down.
Yeah, I mean, not that I get to sit down.
No,
But that's a different. That's that's for our topic. Okay.
So
what is the crack?
The crack is I'm complaining today. That's what's going to happen. So Mike is working, and I can't complain because he's like, I got to go out of town for 2 weeks. And I'm like, cool, what you doing? He's like, going to Oregon, then Boise, and Spokane, then Bellingham, and then back to Portland. And I'm like, that fucking sucks. Right? Mm-hmm. And like that, and then, you know, not that he doesn't love his parents, but he's got to like go live in his parents' basement again. You know, a guy's like 48 years old, back in his parents' basement, which I love. Makes me laugh. But I'm just like, I'm not feeling well. I'm trying to like take this time to figure out why, and like, do I need more napping? Do I need less of this drug, more of that drug? And so I'm petri dishing myself, and it's just not working out well. So it's hard. Like I feel for single parents, because I only do this like, you know, every 3 months or so, but it's just like a lot. And I live in like a military area, so I talk to parents all the time, and they're like, oh yeah, my husband's being deployed for 18 months. And I'm just like, I can't even.
Wild.
I can't even.
Yeah, that's an insane one to me. Like, you know, very scary. I was also going to say from earlier, you said like you can't complain. You can't complain.
I can't.
Right? It's valuable to complain sometimes. You know, life sucks. So
that's where I'm at. It's going to be good. People are going to give this episode glowing reviews.
Let's hope so. Yes. It's cathartic.
Yes. How are you?
So I roll up my sleeves.
What's the crack with you?
So since we last spoke, I have our last episode was when I had just returned from my holiday in Canada.
So you were like, yay!
Hooray! I have full beans. Yeah, and I'm even worse this week somehow. But I think I had hoped that my kind of jet lag was more over than it was, and so like, and then like it really kind of hit me like a ton of bricks later on that week. I think so. Like, since we last spoke, I went to Charlie XCX, which was excellent, but it was like a very, like, I mean, I didn't have the juice for like a night at an outdoor concert. I just didn't. It just wasn't there. But it was still a lovely experience. But it was like an odd experience, like as a 46-year-old man.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I certainly wasn't, there were people my age there, but, I mean, like, largely you're talking mostly young girls and, like, teenagers, people in their 20s, probably people in their 30s as well. Like, and, like, me just standing there by myself, I was like, oh, this feels kind of odd. There were, like, tons of queer people, like, both men and women. I'm told since that, talking about my outfit, it was slightly queer coded. I think there's definitely
most of your outfits are, Andy.
That's true. I think I'm queer coded just generally, And
it's like
there was something
your
that
poncho and your utility kilt. I can't.
I know, it's so true.
You are who you
but
are.
And I got this like knit shirt whenever I was away, and I was wearing that, and I would really feel like, yeah, that's definitely gay. And I'm like, oh, okay. But there was like there was what was a really kind of nice. I think somebody said, "No, man, it was a really kind of interesting thing." Like, I'm all about kind of observing human behavior, and I
like
was
this?
just standing. Yeah, like from a distance, I'd preferably behind a fucking glass shield, like 3 meters of plastic would be my ideal way to observe human behavior. Anyway, and I was just standing there watching Charlie, and then I felt this tap on my shoulder, and I looked right, nothing, and then I looked left, and there was a guy with like a quite flamboyant outfit, and he had like a fan, and he just looked at me, flicked open the fan, fanned himself, and walked away. And I was like, wow, was that a meeting a meeting technique or something? Come hither.
Uh-huh.
But I was like, how fascinating. So that was fun. But it was a lovely night, and nevertheless, like, even though I didn't have the gist for it, it was fantastic. She puts on an amazing stage show, and I'm very glad I went, despite feeling very out of place.
Yeah.
Though I did run into a friend who kind of runs events, and she was able to get me into a VIP area, which was quite exciting. Not like a kind of you're going to meet Charlie VIP area, but like a kind of little
maybe like
gated area.
Well, I guess here it's like you buy a wristband. Now it's like you buy a wristband so you can sit down.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. The wristband, and there's nicer toilets, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll take both those things.
And like here, you have to be 21 and older usually to be by the bar, so that kind of like delineates at least some age.
It's true. So
whatever the term is, placing people in certain the younger people stand categories. Over there. Yeah, thank you. I like her, and I'm jealous that you got to go.
Yeah, it ruled. I was really like sad. I saw some people with like sweatbands that were like neon green and said "brat" on them, and I really wanted to buy one, but they didn't have any. So, so fans of the pod, send me a brat sweatband, please.
Or I should, because I forgot your birthday.
It's fine. If you can track one down, I'll take one all day. The other thing I did since we last spoke was I saw Final Destination Bloodlines.
Oh.
Which was so much fun. It was such a great time out at the movies. It was like, and I heard it was a fun movie to watch, and I've enjoyed some of the previous entries, but this one has so much fun with the kills and stuff like that in really kind of inventive ways, and it was just like a kind of like, that sort of time at the movies. Not really like, I think the thing about those movies is that they're not like horrors, as in there's not anything scary, but there's a lot of shocking moments, Mm-hmm. So it was very entertaining.
I'm curious to see how the captioning will caption your use of the word horror or horror.
Oh God, it will.
I know, we'll see. I'll leave that, whatever it is.
I'm going to get in big trouble probably for that. Again.
The censors.
I know.
I've been going to see movies too.
Oh yeah?
Like I did some stuff this weekend. There was like a music free like music in a concert or the park. So I took the kids to that, saw a friend, had fun. There was like a jam band, and it's like playing.
That's nice.
Not Charlie XCX.
God, what?
And then we saw Lilo and Stitch, the live.
Oh yes,
live
I saw it too. Actually,
I really liked it actually. And then we saw there's a new Pixar movie out called Elio.
Oh yeah.
So we saw that over the weekend. I'm just trying to, parenting.
How was it?
It was actually really sweet. I liked it.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if you're looking for something to do, like it's totally like, if you'll go see Final Destination 400, you can see Elio and be entertained.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That's absolutely fair. I kind of like. I kind of want to see the 28 Days.
I do too. I'm so excited.
Or 28 Years movie. But
is our boy in it?
A boy in.
Our the guy that played Oppenheimer. He's Irish.
I don't know. Cillian Murphy?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I don't know because I don't think he was in 28 Weeks Later. I'm pretty certain he wasn't, but I can't remember.
Was this the third?
Yeah, this is the third. But the second one wasn't great, as I recall, but it's been a long time since I've seen it.
I did not know this. I've only ever watched 28 Days.
I feel like, as far from my understanding, is that the third one largely ignores 28 Weeks Later, so it's not that big a deal.
I think it's Danny Boyle that's directing it.
It is. I saw and there's a meme that's happened. It's basically Danny Boyle directed it, Alex Garland wrote it, and they've been doing a press tour. And there's this whole thing of them being interviewed by a YouTube creator, and the YouTube creator is basically it's an avatar, and the avatar is of an anime girl who's also half dog, and it's just them like Danny Boyle being in wonder, kind of going, what is happening here? And Alex Garland just being like, oh, what the fuck? It's a very entertaining pairing,
It's kind of they're just stealing from Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Yeah.
Which is
yes.
Yeah.
That's true. But yeah, I was gonna say I don't. You know what? I was gonna say it, but in a bad way. But I don't know. I haven't seen this stuff. I might enjoy it, But it's just. That's true. Actually, this sort of thing has been going on for years. It's so true. But yeah. So, do you have any what's occurring for us this week?
I do. One of our frequent commenters was talking about your asteroid field fact when we did cool space facts.
Uh-oh.
And so, for those who haven't heard that episode, get on it right away because it's actually it's one of our best, I think. But Andy explained that the asteroid field, the asteroids are actually, it's so big and the asteroids are so far apart that the odds of hitting something or having to navigate really, really hard is not an actual possibility. So this person said heartbreaking with a little broken heart emoji.
Oh, okay.
Meaning even if you were a proper platinum balled space adventurer, you'd never be able to perform deep space parkour and leap from one asteroid to another, Mario Galaxy style.
That is a very, Mario can leap from planet to planet, so that's not real things.
Well, then
I
started thinking about asteroid movies and asteroids in general, and then I was thinking about Armageddon, and and then I went. It's just one of those movies where the plot is so stupid that I can't take the movie seriously. Right?
Yeah, it's true.
It's just they got asteroids coming, but they're let's get the deep core miners to come and blow up the asteroid the size of Texas. And then I'm thinking about the pitching of it, and you when you pitch something, it's 2 sentences, right? And that's what people look at and read, and then decide if they want to read your script or not. And I'm just I can't even. So if you want to laugh, read the Wikipedia page.
It is a Michael Bay movie, so it being dumb as fuck.
Totally.
is part of it.
And I had to Google what parkour meant.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I learned something.
That's interesting because, like, yeah, there was parkour was like such a fad. I mean, a long time ago now, there was like a whole thing where there was like movies and the kind of structure was around parkour, and there was like one of the kind of Bond movies opens with Bond chasing after a guy who's doing parkour, and like Bond's just like smashing through walls and stuff like that, and you know, Hulk smashing versus this other guy who's being nimble and kind of hopping about the place.
Right.
I think it was like Block 13 or I can't remember. There was a very famous sort of parkour movie that happened in the kind of 2 or 3 year like fizzle of parkour.
Well, no, I learned something from
right, and it was fascinating.
It was. And then it's like it's always interesting, like the wormholes that I go down.
Yeah.
With this person, and that or like things that I yeah. Anyways, so thank you for writing it. That was great. And it is heartbreaking.
Always appreciated.
Yes.
It is heartbreaking, truly. Yeah.
So, that's what I got there.
So, shall we move on to today's topic? So you know, I talked about doing a summer episode, and we've pivoted, because we want to talk about other things.
Not summer.
we are nothing if not, you know, people who change their mind quickly. Wow, my brain's really fizzled. I had a word for that. It's gone. Anyway.
Fine. I couldn't remember Cillian Murphy or like how to tell you that there were like two different age groups of a crowd of a concert. It's fine.
It's like whatever. Mercurial.
There you go.
Mercurial was the word I was looking for. It came to me eventually. As you've probably seen, this is called Mental Health Quarterly Review Part something.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
It's what, maybe Part 4, Part 5.
I don't know. Whenever
we haven't had
it's like
one
whenever we feel like it.
Whenever we feel like it, okay, because we are the captains now.
We are the captains.
So we get to decide what we're gonna do and when we're gonna do it.
That's right.
And if you don't like it, you can make your own damn podcast. So yeah, because like, I think, you know, and before we started, Beth and I were chatting, and I think we're both kind of feeling a bit of a crunch, you know, emotionally, mentally, all those sorts of things. So we thought it would be a good time to just, you know, have our wee therapy time on board.
I need it. And I have therapy tomorrow, thank goodness.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. No,
so just because I you know, that is something actually, that's a great place to start, because I have been debating therapy again recently, and are you still getting value out of it? Do you think? Yeah, I just want to get your thoughts on how you're feeling about it these days.
So I was doing, like, in the height of COVID sickness, I was in therapy once a week.
Yeah.
Then I went to 2 every other week. I think I'm at every other week right now.
Okay.
I think I could probably do once a month. So I would say.
Okay.
But like, I think part of my problem is I have a friend who's going through some rough stuff that's also seeing my same therapist.
Ooh, interesting.
And her shit is like real, and mine is like, so I'm like, I'm feeling like I don't deserve it, right? Like my problems are so minuscule.
No, please don't do that.
I know,
don't
right?
diminish your problems.
Isn't that silly?
Yeah.
So I'm
yes.
Like, these are the things I have. I don't know if I have too much time on my hands right now or too little time. I can't tell, because like I'm parenting. You know, I'm also trying to like keep the house going and figure out, you know, when am I getting stem cells next? Aha.
Yeah.
I can't see myself clearly right now. It's weird.
Yeah. That's tough.
So to answer your question, yeah, I think it's very valuable.
Yes.
And I don't think it needs to be like, you know, once you're in forever. I think, you know, like dabbling and seeing it.
Yes,
if it
as
works.
when you need it.
Yeah, I think, you know, that's fine. And I have a really, really good therapist that I wish you could see. And she's very understanding, and I just like, I would hang out with her, which is, I know, totally against the rules.
You've talked to me a little bit about her before, I think, and she does sound great.
Yeah. So I think if you're even thinking about trying it out, just go. Would be my
You know, it's like literally the friggin'. It's how expensive it is. You know, is the big, is the big kind of barrier for me right now, and it's also kind of like, you know, and I don't know whether this is just the negative mental thoughts talking or not, but like I'm also kind of I think about my last couple of not sessions, but I guess periods of time where I was seeing different therapists, and I feel like it always got to the point where I was like, after about 6 months to a year or so, where I was like, I think I've done all the work I can do with this particular therapist, and I'm kind of ready to move on.
I think I've had Andy, like, I'm like thinking back, I don't know, I've probably had maybe 12 to 14 different therapists throughout my life.
Have they, and I'm sure they have varied, qualities, maybe not a fair word, but like in terms of how you have appreciated them, have there been like, has there been a big difference in terms of like the value you've got out of
You know, I've done a lot of different types. So I've seen a hypnotherapist, and I've seen someone that specializes in the rapid eye movement. I've seen, you know, so it's like I've gone and seeked out specific types of therapy. Can you hear the bird? I have the door open.
No.
Okay, good. She gets screamy around this time of day. So I think that's part of it. Is it's like, okay, I need, like, traditional talk therapy isn't working. You know, maybe hypnotherapy will work. Which for me it wasn't. I'm too I don't know, stubborn. I'm not a believer. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm laying on the couch and I feel relaxed, but like, did it help my sleep? No, right? Did it help my stress level? No, but like, did I also like come to some realizations? Like, absolutely. Mostly around like working too hard and not wanting to work that hard. So
yeah.
But all to say, like, hopping around is totally like, you don't feel the need to stick with somebody that isn't a good fit.
Yeah, I think that's true. I mean, like, you know, I think that when I think about how I like to communicate with people, and like, you know, my absolute preferred way is seeing people in person. Like, you know, I'm not even that crazy with that, but if I had to pick one, that would be the one. And my last, you know, therapist was via one of the like online or one of the app-based ones. I can't think of the name of it now. BetterHelp, I think it was. And kind of got like tried a few different people, and then I had one and it was grand. But like, you know, I kind of have an issue with like, you know, the commodification of all that sort of stuff, you know, and I understand the need for it.
Yeah.
Because like there's so many people crying out for like therapists, but I feel like my preference would be, if I was to engage with another one, it would be in person if possible, you know. But yeah, I like, my mindset currently is that I think I'm frustrated with the thought that there's no cure for this, you know. I'm frustrated with the fact that I will always have to live with this a lot right now, and like, and I think that talk therapy has helped, but like I feel like it doesn't. I it's maybe a question of acceptance currently that I'm really kind of struggling with, and I don't know whether, you know, talk therapy. I think about the outlay in terms of, you know, cash that I would have to spend to do this, and also, you know, the time that I would have to you know, invest in doing this, and I think about how my life is currently, and I'm really kind of struggling to kind of make sense of all that right now, you know. So yeah, I just feel like a bit conflicted about it all. Yeah, and I suppose this also, you know, inevitably ties into the things that are maybe impacting my mental health, you know, the constant need to like have money to live and all this sort of stuff, and you know, and especially me being self-employed and thinking about, you know, even when I was on holiday, getting messages from people, emails from people about jobs and gigs and things like that, and I'm just like, it feels like there's no fucking escape from that, and that is, I find, really quite mentally taxing, honestly. I feel like, you know, it's one of the reasons why, and I've probably talked about this before, my phone is on do not disturb and silent mode basically all the time. You know, and like, it's different for you. Obviously, you got kids, so you can.
Oh no, I have it on do not disturb, silent, don't vibrate, and I check it once an hour. Yeah, just to make sure that, you know, but they've always. I'm lucky they've got Mike as a backup number, so if they can't reach me, then they call him. And sometimes they just call him anyway. So. Yeah. That said, like, I'm up at 4 a.m. I get my phone out and I, you know,
doom scroll. Which is
really good for my mental health and my sleep.
I am absolutely getting messages from you at hours of the day where I'm like, Beth,
I know.
You should be in bed.
I know. Like, shut it.
Beth, go to bed. Shut your phone, Andy. Shut your mouth.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's you know, like, have you out of curiosity, have you? I know I've talked about this before as well. Like, I refuse to sleep with my phone anymore. Like, as in, you know, like, sleep in the room that it's charging. Mm-hmm. So like, it goes in another room so that way that, like, basically once I close the door of my bedroom, it's a, you know, protected zone. No outside world shit is getting in there unless it's an absolute emergency and somebody's like hammering my door, you know.
I think I could do that. I used to like have I should get another headset. I used to have these like headphones. They fell apart because they were cheap, and I would listen to these meditations, and that was like my reason for having my phone in the room, was because I needed to be able to like listen. Yep. And I did a lot of that when I was laying in bed all the time. But I haven't, since these like stupid headphones just literally like disintegrated. I was like, what is all this black shit everywhere? But yeah, I could, and like, okay.
It's
hard.
I understand. It is hard, and it took me a long time to actually make it a reality, you know. And like, it was also, you know, one of the ways I kind of like really.
Do you read books? Like, do you read the books, yes, or do you read your Kindle, or like?
That's what I do instead. So I'm like, if I feel like I reach for my phone, instead I reach for my book and I read my book, and I feel like I have done something that I enjoy more, that is not going to like plunge me into the fucking more of a depression. And because like, that is what I fucking hate most about phones in particular, is that they will just bring you miserable news constantly. It's like, you know,
and it's exceptionally horrible for right now, you know, and that's, you know, that's the model, right? We've talked about that.
Yeah.
That the model is, you know, to keep you terrified and, you know,
I'm not happy
and reading and you know, I don't want to get too far into the debate of all of like being aware of what's happening in the world. Like, it's absolutely necessary, but at the same time, it's like, you know, therapy isn't free, and we all need it.
So true. Yeah. No, it is kind of like, you know, not I see the utility of some of the things and some of the, like, I mean, I today put up pictures on Instagram from my trip, my first set, just because, and like I'd say 99% of me doing that is so I don't have to go around to individual people and go, here, look at my photos, because I fucking hate that process anyway. And also, like, people have asked me and I'm like, here you go, enjoy at your own, and I will never look at the comments, thank you, goodbye. So like, you know, I see the utility of that, but like, if I find myself on Instagram and like looking through it, and there is part of my brain is like, what are you doing? I fucking switch this off now, you know what I mean? Like, I instead end up going on Reddit or whatever, which is like,
I do that too.
I think, like, I mean, like, and I'm not going to defend my Reddit addiction, but, like, I think it's a hell of a lot better than, because, like, there are tendrils into your personal life with Instagram, with Facebook, that there just does not exist with Reddit. Well, you know, certainly my experience with Reddit, you know. And I find that to be a healthier experience. It's like why I fucking love podcasts so much, because, you know, I get to, like, I have a window into this world that I do not have to interact with at all, you know.
Yeah. I also noticed, I was on Reddit last night, and I noticed a difference in the comments. Like, people are, and maybe it's just the groups that I'm in, but, like, people are more respectful and thoughtful about the words that they're writing, you know, than they are on, like, you know, page 6 or, you know, all these other places where people comment on things, or even Facebook, right? Like, the neighborhood group that I'm in for my neighborhood, people are just, like, ripping each other apart, and I'm like, this doesn't happen on Reddit. This happens in the neighborhood forum on Facebook.
That's some wild shit, considering they have to see each other.
Yeah, they're, like, fighting over lighting. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, you guys.
But it's like, yeah, you know, and I have sympathy for that, like, but I think some people just have incredibly unrealistic expectations. I mean, like, there is certain things I think people have to, like, just swallow about living in a group of people close to you, unfortunately. Yes. And I think some people are always going to struggle with that, sadly, you know.
Yeah. I think I've told you this like 400 times. My mom lives on a road with like 6 or 7 other houses, and like none of them get along.
Wow, really?
Yeah, and I'm like, there can never be world peace if these, like, people who all have acreages, right? There's a lot of land between the houses, and they're still, like, driving each other crazy and stealing each other's mail and getting in screaming fights. It's like over gravel. I can't.
Life's too short.
I know, man.
Like, and I love, you know, having multi-week depressive stints, but, like, Jesus Christ, even to me who does that feels like a colossal waste of time.
I know. You know? I don't have the energy for that.
No.
To be mad. I'm more mad. I just turned it all internal. That anger,
no,
I just flip that around and put that all here.
The healthy way. Yeah. But yeah,
actually,
like, you know,
I actually see two therapists right now. So because certain therapists in the States, like, they can be traditional therapists, or you have like a nurse who can prescribe. So I have my talk therapist, and then I have like the therapist that it's weird here, dude. It's like they talk to you for 15 minutes, and then they're like, well, I don't know, let's try this drug. And you're like, okay. And they're like, talk to you in a month. Okay. So that's not, it's not, that system is fucked up, I will say.
Yes. Because, like, it's probably the same for you guys then, where it's like one therapist for to give you drugs, and another therapist to kind of do the talk therapy side of things. Basically. I think it's similar here. Yep. But, like, like, honestly, at the minute, I have no, like, my engagement with, because I think I mentioned to you before, perhaps on the pod, I'm trying to get off my antidepressants. Not that I'm like, oh, aren't I doing great? It's more like they have never done anything of real value to me. They have helped me sleep in the past. I've talked about this before. But, like, honestly, I don't really think it makes that much of a difference. And not certainly anymore. I think any sort of impact on my sleep is probably long in the rear view. So I'm, like, trying to get off them. But, like, currently how our system works in the UK, so this is a hangover from COVID, is that if you want to speak to a GP, you must call them at 8:30 in the morning. You did tell me this. Yeah. You have to, like, wait. You have to call many times. So I'm going to see if I can find the number exactly. Anyway, you have to get through to them. They'll be like, okay, we'll get a doctor to call you back, and you just have to be at your phone the rest of the day. Which you don't do. I can turn my phone on, but, like, it's like, there's the amount of times where I'm, like, doing something where my phone has to be off, like teaching, or going to a place where I've got no reception, like pet therapy. There's loads of my mornings that are like that, you know? So, it's so frustrating because so then finding a morning where, let me see how many. Okay. Oh wow, it's way worse than I thought. So one morning I rang them. Basically, you have to ring, and people are like, "Well, do they not have like a
hold
one of those
system?
systems? A hold system? Yeah. They do.
Okay.
But this is on top of this, right? I called 174 times. I capped 200 before I got through.
I'm gonna fucking cry.
Right, and like that's devastating to your mental health having to do that process every time. So like I'm trying to reduce down. I need to speak to my doctor every time I do this, and like that's such a fucking miserable experience, you know. So like, oh, that was very frustrating.
Oh my fucking god!
Isn't that the same?
Like if you were like, guess how many times, I would never have guessed a number that high, ever.
Right?
Ever.
No. And so, and you know,
I see.
So I see. So it's very frustrating. So like, and you know, again, like, and I think I have just reduced the last reduction I did. I just reduced it myself because I knew what he did try to call me, and I knew what it was going to be about. So I just did the reduction myself, and I'm just going to like, it's like whatever, titrate it off. You know. Yeah, and then I'll just speak to him.
I got off mine. Did I tell you this?
Mm-hmm. You said you were coming off it,
so I got completely off of them. I'm still there are other medications that I am still taking, but they're mostly around like anxiety and sleep, which is always. But like I just didn't, and it's like part of it. You know, it sounds stupid, but like it made me gain weight, and that wasn't my. You know, that doesn't feel good for my mental health because I can't get a lot of exercise right now, and so I'm just eating and getting fatter and like feeling bad about myself, and so like that's part of it. Was like the weight gain wasn't it does help me sleep, but not enough to like, I don't know, have all these other like weird side effects. Like it I think I had to get glasses because of this drug.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, so it like messed with my vision. So I'm just, I don't know, and like because I've started integrating stem cells back in. I don't know what is working and what is not working anymore.
Yeah.
So
because there's like a cocktail of stuff.
Yeah, it is. It's like this,
and
this, and so I'm trying to like reduce the cocktail. So I did titrate off. I was very proud of myself because I was like, this is probably something I'm going to have to be on for the rest of my life. And I ended up being able to get off of it, and it took 2 weeks for me to do it the right way.
And like being off it, have you noticed any significant difference?
That's a good question. I think it not really, other than like it would help me fall asleep faster, but I've supplemented that. Now I'm like I'm trying to go more natural, so I'm like supplementing it with like 20 milligrams or 30 milligrams of melatonin, right? Like, which is a lot. But that that'll do something. And
yep.
I started eating weed again instead. So I don't, and frankly, I can buy certain things to help me. Like I'm complaining now, and I don't advocate for anybody else to do this. This is just what I have figured out to do in my own life. But like, I can go down to Mexico and buy drugs if I need to.
Yeah.
And at this point, like, just trying to get I was supposed to have an appointment with my with the therapist that could prescribe the drugs, and like I'm like, what do I need? Michael's like, what do you even need them for? What do you even need them for?
Yeah.
You have a doctor in Mexico. Just go down there.
That's so true, and it's shit whenever like working with the system makes you feel like that.
So that's kind of, it's like, I guess it's just I feel demoralized, but I can't imagine trying to call someone 100 or 200 times, right?
Yeah.
That would like literally like I'm like glad that I had a Xanax before I got hopped on with you, because I would be freaking out. That would like make me sweat.
So Right, and here's the worst thing about that, right? So I left my phone on Do Not Disturb. I took it off. Very rare I do this. I take it off Do Not Disturb. I took it off silent mode, right? He called me when I was driving, and I guess because I was driving, it went in drive mode, so it went through the answer machine. So I fucking missed him. So that was just 45 minutes in the morning trying to get through, and then I missed a call because it's like, at a minimum, maybe give me a window. He'll call you back roughly then, and I would do my best to like be free in that window and not do anything. Like I wasn't working at the time, you know. So it was just very frustrating.
I can't even.
Excuse me. You know, and like, I mean, and not to undermine this, you know, but like, it's because it is important. Mental health is important, but like, you know, what if you're somebody who's like a more serious ailment that you need to speak to a doctor about? Yeah, and yes, there are other ways and means to go about that, but still, it just feels, I don't know, I feel deeply broken, but it is absolutely the way it has been for a long, long time now, and seems unlikely to change.
I don't understand like what happens, because I took Charlie to the doctor because he was having back pain. Did I tell you this?
Mm-hmm.
For like 2 weeks.
No.
Yeah, he's like, my back hurts. Don't do that. Ow, my back. And I was like, you sound like a 40-year-old man. Okay, this has gone on long enough. So they like, they got him in the next day. They were like, do you want to bring him in today? And I was like, no, tomorrow's fine. Like, he's, you know, just give him some Tylenol. It could be growing pains. Who knows? Get him in there. They weigh him. They did a urinalysis to check for like a kidney infection, because they were like, your kidneys are big. Then they were like, go downstairs, get an X-ray. All this happened within like 45 minutes. And they got it right. And I'm like, why is this all happening so fast? Like, you'd have to have 4 or 5 appointments in order to like get any of that done. So like, children's healthcare here is, or at least the healthcare we have with kids based on our insurance, is so good and so fast. And I'm like, why can't we do that with adults?
Well, this is true.
Do we just have more ailments? I don't know. So I dream of that day with an integrative clinic.
Wouldn't it be nice? Yeah. Wouldn't it be nice?
Where you're like, I'm feeling sad. And they're like, oh, okay, let's bring this other doctor in.
All right, come on in, bro. Come with somebody. Yeah.
And like, this person can help you. They're here too. They'll walk in and we'll all sit together and try and work out this problem as a group, right?
Yeah, no, this is true. Unfortunately, the questions behind things like that would always be like, well, where's the money? Where's the profit?
I know.
Where's the profit to be made from that?
I know.
Yeah, it's just anti-capitalist, once again, fucking bloody communist.
Yeah.
Anyway, so one of the things I wanted to talk about, one of the reasons why we decided that we wanted to talk about this was, and I was feeling the crush of time.
Yes.
And finding time to do things, finding time both for yourself and for other people. It's something that we both are experiencing at the minute. I'm actually really keen as well to hear from people who have maybe like, you know, our listeners who are like maybe also notice this. I wonder, is it like, you know, I feel like everybody it feels time pressured. I don't know whether I'm noticing it more now in other people, maybe because I'm feeling it so much these days. I think, I don't know how honest an appraisal it is, but when thinking about it recently, I'm like, I feel like I've been like this certainly for a long time, you know. But I just feel, certainly since coming back from my holiday, like more broken by it than I have.
Can I give you my
in a long
assessment?
time? Yeah.
I think you're happier than you've been in a long time, and I think you probably use being busy as a distraction. Yeah. And I think you're wanting more time to just like be in your happy place.
Yes.
And you don't need all that distraction as much. And now that distraction is noise and time and effort and energy. Yeah. And you don't want to deal with it as much because you're focusing on living your life in a different way. That's
fair. Yeah. It's maybe just like growing pains from one sort of like phase of life to another. Yeah, that's a fair assessment, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and
So it's good news, Andy. It's good news.
It is good. Yeah, that's a relief. I'm definitely struggling to navigate it, and I think that is something that, like, yeah, a common theme, certainly in my life, probably in a lot of people's lives, navigating between those changes. So like, I don't know. I'm currently in a position where I do want to ease off in things, but I also don't know
where.
No, it's like, anywhere I look to make cuts is things that I really either I can't or I really don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I don't know. It's just like, something's got to give, and I don't know what it is, and it's really causing me a lot of like mental anguish, I think, at the minute.
Yeah. I wish I had a magic answer for that.
Oh yeah.
Because I feel like
Me too.
I know, right? You have been cutting things out.
Yes, I have.
And also I think, that feeling is probably compounded by the fact that you got a break from everything for a couple of weeks and you didn't have to do all the things, and you're on a trip, being busy, but like it's
just
being outside and hiking is a different busy than like rushing to pet therapy and then rushing to teach yoga and then rushing to walk, the dogs. It's like,
and even like just having nebulous time, like there was a couple of evenings where we were just like, oh, we'll just sit, we'll pop a gummy, when we play some games on the iPad, we'll just have a chat. Where it's just like, those things are extremely rare in my life. It's always like, task focused or something. Even with like, I'm getting to see some friends this weekend, and I'm very much looking forward to it, and we're getting a weekend away, but I'm like, I'm stressing about like this, how this is going to set me back, further in terms of like the things I need to stay on top of. It's just
I've got like my stuff. The kids, have both had weird stuff going on with their bodies. They're at the doctor. Charlie's, I've had him in therapy. He's now he's getting a tutor. So it's just like managing schedules of children is like if you let them have activities, or you care about their bodies, like it's a full-time job.
Yeah.
And then then my stuff on top of that, it's just like, I'm so tired. So tired. And I'm like I'm resting, and I don't know if, now I'm just complaining, but like I'm sleeping a lot during the day. Like I don't want to deal.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal. And so I'm just like, go crawl in bed and like shut it all off and don't think, and just like be in your comfy cloud. Close those curtains.
Let's see if someone's just your protective bubble against the world. That sounds appealing, but I also kind of know, I have definitely been in those places in the past, and I also know that as appealing as it sounds, it's kind of a mixed bag in reality.
It is, and I don't know what's depression and what's fatigue right now.
Yeah.
Which is, so that's kind of the dance that I'm in right now, I think, is like, am I depressed, or am I feeling fatigued? Am I lonely, or do I need time alone? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's so true. And that is such a good point, because it is really difficult to really analyze where this is coming from, what it is. Mm-hmm. And like, the things that you're talking about there sound like complete polar opposites, and I feel like for some people they would hear that and they would go, well, how do you not know? But it's very simply, it's unfortunately very easy to just have no idea where this is coming from and what is, and I think that like, tell me if you agree with this, but like, I feel like your brain will give you the reason, give you the answer that makes you feel most guilty about it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Totally.
So it is Yeah, it's just you're being lazy. It's like, you know, or like whatever,
Yeah.
you know, and like I get very similar things, you know, and it's so frustrating to have any sort of anything even close to an objective analysis of what's going on with it. Yeah, it's maddening, constantly maddening.
And I will say, like, you know, sometimes I'm not trying to bag on therapy, but like sometimes I just
No.
wish they would be like, here's what you need to do. And
Yes.
not like, no, how does that make you feel, right? And like
Yeah.
lead, like, you know, that it's like they're this new term breadcrumbing, right?
Yeah.
It's like that's essentially what therapy is. It's like they're just like breadcrumbing you along to figure your shit out. But I just I know that's not the financial model that works. But sometimes like I just need
I know.
someone to be like, stop it.
Maybe we don't need therapists. We need like dominatrixes or something like that.
Maybe like those outdoor programs where you like it's like outdoor boot camp.
Yeah.
Break our spirits.
Yeah. Keep running, maggot, and etc. etc.
Yay.
Actually, that's not doing that. That sounds awful.
But like,
but yeah,
I will say, I guess for both of us, I think that the inner dialogue is confused right now,
very much so.
and it's like not nice either.
It's true. Is this heat? Woo,
I know.
Is this heat? I'm only joking. Well, I mean, it's certainly connected, but
it's the humidity.
It's the humidity, yeah. This crazy humidity, and see, we tied it right back to the start of the episode. Everybody, right? That's what's called the prestige. It's like we planned this all from the start. But yeah, any other thoughts, Beth? Do you want to like talk about anything else?
Still try and like get a therapist with that amount of calling,
but that is for my GP.
Okay, so but like you would pay out of pocket is what you're saying to get like.
I would have. There is zero fucking chance of me getting free therapy. There's just no chance. I mean, like I have done. We've talked a little bit before on recent episodes. I've talked to you is that like I have done mental health reviews. I've done a couple, I think, over the past 4 or 5 years. I know I've definitely done at least one. And I think one of them didn't get very far. The second one, I went and I spoke to a nurse. And I remember speaking to her and like me saying stuff to her or me describing things in certain ways. And she goes, that's interesting. Yeah. Okay. And I'm like, all right, cool. Okay, good. I'm glad that you're listening to this and you're going, okay, that's a bit funky.
This is an anomaly.
And yeah. This is an anomaly. Or like, I'm thinking, okay, fuck, good. She's saying something's just going on here. Maybe I'm going to get some traction. You know, and within this, so a mental health review saying I think that CBT isn't for me. I got a little bit out of it, but it's just not for me.
Yeah.
And I've tried it with like 3 or 4 different practitioners, and you know, and she was, and you know, as difficult as I found that process, she was very good, and she listened, and then get a letter 2 weeks later going, we can't help you at this stage. Have you considered CBT? And I'm like, motherfuckers.
Uh-huh.
So there is private is the only option for me, and you know it's a lot of money. Mm-hmm. So and I'm also like, as much as I'd like to do it, I think about the money and I think about what else could be done with the money, and I just don't know. I just don't know right now. I just don't know whether it's a valuable place to put money.
Mm-hmm. There's also, I'll have to look. My therapist is talking about TMS. Have you heard of that?
Sounds familiar.
TMS, I think.
Like as a type of therapy?
Yeah, transcranial magnetic stimulation. And like
okay.
So, but this would be I looked into it because it's not in, it's like you're putting magnets on your head basically, but you have to do it like every day for like a month or something, or 3 months. And I was like, I just can't commit to that because like the drive would kill me. It would be like a 2.5 hour round trip every day. But I know it's worldwide. If you're paying out of pocket, that might be something to look into. And the other one that she talked about was neurofeedback.
Okay.
Which I've also looked into. But again, that practitioner is kind of far away. So
I think I want, do you remember the Incredible Hulk TV show?
Yes, I do.
So, the therapy that David Banner had that turned him into the Hulk?
Yes,
That's kind of the one that's the one that I want. So I'll have to find out what that one is. Okay. So, folks at home, if you've got any leads on that therapy.
Seriously, if anybody has like any type of therapy that has worked for you that isn't CBT
or Hulk therapy.
Or Hulk therapy, like I'm curious. I'm curious. And like stop reading the news.
I have had friends who've done red light therapy, or not just red light therapy, like the light therapy and things like that. And I've only known one person for sure who's done it, and I think he felt mixed about it. He didn't feel it was wonderful. Also, like he has done, and like apparently it is not. When I think of this, I think of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, but he has done electroshock therapy, and it's a lot more targeted these days, and it's apparently there's value there for some people. Yep. But like it's just it's such a roll of the dice, and it's kind of like so like everything with mental health stuff it just all feels so the whole field just seems in its infancy. They're still figuring stuff out.
That's a really good way to describe it. They're babies.
They are babies. They are. So yeah. But yes, any thoughts, folks, on today's topic? We would love to hear it. And if you've got any like miracle cures, any snake oil that'll solve our problems, please let us know.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about? You want to talk about joy?
Joy, God, that damn joy. What's been bringing you joy this week, Beth?
This is hard.
Do you want me to go?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay, so I think I've been talking about anime recently. I've been really enjoying anime because like there's something absurdist about anime. Like, certainly to somebody who is, from like a Western audience, I just kind of love the turns. It always feels so unpredictable to me, and it's really exciting. So like I've been enjoying a Korean anime called Solo Leveling recently, and like I really like the kind of really earnest positions in these shows, and then like the real kind of absurd humor and stuff as well. They don't feel in conflict with each other, and it feels like such a magic trick to me, but it seems so intrinsic to that genre. It just keeps pulling me back, and it's a lot. I find them to be lovely wee escapes, and because they tend to be relatively short, it's something that I can kind of digest at home.
That's awesome. Yeah. My daughter's getting into anime. Like,
what you watching?
It's more books. Like
hell yeah.
She's like drawing stuff too.
Okay, cool.
So, and like she and my son are working on a comic book together.
I
know, me too. I can't remember what it's called, but I'll see if they can find it.
Oh, please.
I know. It's like adorable. I was like, you guys could write these, like Dave Pilkey, Dogman. I was going to say Dogman. Yeah,
Dogman movie.
Yes.
Came out this year. Yeah.
So I was like, if he can do it, anybody can do it.
Exactly.
So I guess joy. I think I haven't been feeling a lot recently. But I will say, like, I keep saying, like, my mantra right now is you can do hard things. And like for me right now, like it feels Herculean to like take the kids to a movie by myself and like get their needs met, and like I did it, and like that felt really good. And I taught Harper how to make pancakes the other day all by herself, right? And like she was so excited, and like so she made pancakes for dinner last night, and like I guess just like I'm finding joy in the little moments with them. And I'm grateful that I'm able to do these things with them, even though sometimes it's, stressful or exhausting. it wouldn't be for a normal person, but it is for me in my body in this life. And I guess like that's hard to come to terms with all the time, but there's still joy there.
I love it.
Okay. That was hard.
That's good. Yeah, it was. Hey, you got it, and that was a good one.
Thank you.
It was a good one. It was a good one. I loved it. Okay. Great. Okay. Beth, can you tell everyone where they can find us?
Find us at bendypodcast.com. Feel free to leave us a Google review.
Please. 5 stars.
Yeah.
Only. Or else you'll have to speak to me, and it'll be me just going, excuse me, could you please give us 5 stars instead of 3 stars, please? Please.
And he'll call you 200 times.
I will, I'll call you. And you'll hear all about it. Hey, how are you? Are you well? Look, I noticed you wrote something. Anyway, right. Okay. Enough out of us. All right, folks. In that case, as always, we like to remind you to stay bendy. Nice.
Excellent.
Mental health.
Ooh,
Band-Aid.
yeah.
All right.
Sorry, everyone. Love you. Bye.
No, don't sorry. Bye. We love you.